Okay, Minna.
All right. I just want to see if Eden has made it on.
See her.
Eden? Okay, I think it's Abigail, if it's okay with you, I think we can get started because she's got time. We've got a few introductions before.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hi, can you hear me? Oh,
Yeah, Eden is here. Great.
Yopi. Great. Great. Thank you.
but can you hear me well, right?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you and see you very well.
Yes, I had issues with my computer, so I logged in with another account. So
Oh, great. Thank you. So Marla, can I get started? You're on mute, Marla. I can't hear you.
Introduce yourself and please get started.
We're gonna get to introductions, Marla, okay? I didn't hear the beginning of what you said, but we'll get started and everyone's gonna introduce themselves. Okay? Okay, so hi everyone, good evening, good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to our panel discussion on diversity in Israeli high tech. Before we get started, I want to thank Tech Career, our very, very dear partners in this English Biafat endeavor, for working together with me on planning this session for all of you. Can I just ask you all to put your microphones on mute because there's a lot of feedback. I want to first thank Takela Mekonnen, Tech Career CEO, and Abigail Harel, Tech Career's Resource Development Manager, for the wonderful partnership we have created over the past 3 years together. To date, almost 370 staff, alumni, and Tech Career students have worked with over 300 of our volunteers on improving their English language skills. I also want to thank our students, the Tech Career Bogrim, or alumni, who are participating in the panel this evening. Segedou Abe, who works with Dorothy Ross, Eden Genet Tassama, who works with Laura Scher, Oded Masala, who works with Steve Gerson, and Israel Mengisto, who works with Casey Cochin. In a moment, each of the panelists will introduce themselves. I just want to say to each of you, thank you, and I truly appreciate your willingness to participate this evening, to speak in English and to share your experiences with our volunteers, especially after a long workday. So for everybody, the format of this evening will include a brief introduction by Takele, followed by self-introductions by each of the panelists. We will then just jump right into a mediated panel discussion led by Israel Mengisto. He will ask a series of questions to the panel, and only after all the questions are answered will we open for Q&A. We're going to wait until the end to ensure that there's enough time for all the panelists to speak. They have spent time preparing for the evening, and we want to give them the time and respect to share their knowledge and experiences with us. Again, just please everyone put your microphones on mute until Q&A, and thank you all for coming this evening. So Takela, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Mina. First of all, thank you very much, Marla Gamoran, Skill Volunteers Executive Director. Really thank you for your voluntary to our organization, and Dr. Mina Awarf, English Bayachar Program Director. Appreciate your work together with us, and all the wonderful volunteers that work with our students to change their life. Thank you very much. And I will give you a brief snapshot about the Ethiopian community. As you see in the slide, we are 164 and 400 Ethiopian Jews live in Israel. 35% of the population from our communities from 21 to 35 years old. A young generation live in Israel. Also a lot of, and the children also, this migration. And you'll see our high school diploma, we call it in Israel the matriculation, were 78%. And from comparing to the Israeli populations, 85%. We are okay in that diploma, but the equal diploma that we enable university admission is a little bit low. 52% of the Ethiopians are good diploma to enter to the university, we are to the 75% of the Israeli society. And our employed in the low skills field, most of our communities, 26%, working in the very, very low skill field in Israel. If you compare from the Israeli society, only 4%. So most of our youngsters working without low skill fields. As you see, they employed in the high-tech industry, 16% of the Israeli society is enjoying the industry, only 3%. Only 3% of the Ethiopians enjoy from the industry, high-tech industry in Israeli. As you know, Israel is a very high-tech nation. That is the middle class, is really, really small percent of Ethiopians enjoying that company. And it's very sad, as you see, the average man's income, when we compare from the Israeli society, men's, we earn only 8,200 shekels. When you compare to the Israeli society, it's 14,700. It's a huge gap. It's a very, really a huge gap. Also, our community, the family is a big family. It's a traditional family. We have a big family, so they have a very low income. And the worst one is the women's. The Ethiopian women earn only 5,700 shekel. If you compare to the Israeli women's, 10,100. This is taken from the Israeli Statistic Company, Statistic Institute. It's a new one in this 21-22 statistics that the government do. So we in the tech career, we do a lot to change this gap. We believe that only equality in economy is coming equality in society. And thank you very much for your volunteering. Thank you very much.
Pekah, thank you so much for giving us that snapshot. Someone asked if JP stands for Jewish population. Yes, it does. We're going to now turn to Israel and the Bogrim to begin our panel discussion on diversity in the high-tech sector. Israel?
Yeah, okay, but before we need to go kind of a road of...
I'm sorry, you're right. Everyone's going to introduce themselves first. I'm sorry, I got excited.
So I'm the
Israel,
first? I'll be the first?
Yes.
Okay. Nice to meet you. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Israel Mangisto. I'm from Rehovot. Rehovot is in the center of Israel. I born and raised in Israel. My parents made Aliyah from Ethiopia to Sudan through the desert of Sudan in 1980. This is part of my identity and part of my legacy. I learned, I alumni from Tech Career from 2008. I learned quality assurance. From now until today, I work in several companies in several positions, small, medium, and even corporate. In several positions, it's mean hands-on, team leader, and in my last position as a director. Today, I am also a member association of Tech Career, and also I found my own startups. My title is CTO in startup they call Trader Solutions. That's all. Next. Who's the next?
Okay, I'll be the next one. Hi, everyone. My name is Eden Genet Asama. I'm 26 years old, and I'm currently living in Ramat Gan with my boyfriend Daniel, but I'm originally from Rehovot, as Israel. I'm the oldest sister in my family, and I have 5 more siblings. My parents also made Aliyah in both operations, Moses and Shlomo. But I'm born and raised in Israel. I graduated from Tech Career a year ago. I study full stack development. Now I'm working at Cognite, which is an Israeli cyber security company, as backend developer for a year and 1 month. I'm working with Laura Sher, for more than a year now. I'm feeling that she helped me better my English, reading and speaking. She guided me with patience and love, and she's more than a tutor for me. And that's it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Oded Masala. Pleasure to be here. I'm excited to speak to you guys. I live in Lod. My age is 27. Lod is the places that tech career is also been in. My parents made Aliyah in 1985. They was married here, and after it, I was born in 95. I learned in Israel, and after the schools, I go to the military. I was an officer in the military, and then I was doing a shift in my career. So make my head to tech career, and I was studied there also like Eden, full stack developer, more like a year. I finished in January 2023, and now I'm working at the Moveo Group in Tel Aviv. Something like 3 months almost. My mentor in English was Steve. He's the best mentor I had. He helped me with the English, with the grammar, and also by personal life. Mentorship me with time management and productivity with my job. And currently we made a little bit of pause because of my new work, and soon we will meet again and process our process, continue our process. Thank you very much.
So I will continue. My name is Sege Doabe. I'm 26 years old, live in Ramat Gan, originally from Jerusalem. I born in Ethiopia, and I made Aliyah with my family in 1999. I also learned in tech career, graduate a year, few months ago. And started to work as a software engineer in Hired Score, which is a company of software, which provides software that can help Fortune 100 companies to recruit more efficiently employees. I'm working with Dorothy Ross, which is here, for 1 year, and I'm very excited to be here today.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves. That was great. And now is Israel, we can get started with the panel. So thank you.
Yeah, but before the panel, I have also a mentor from the English Beyachad. I didn't say it before, I need to say it now. Casey, thank you very much for your time. Love. So let's move to the panel. I'm very excited to be here today. I briefly can say that English Beyachad program helped me personally, and for that I want to say thank you. I said it before and I said it again. So now let's start the panel. The first question is, in what way do you see diversity is crucial to the high-tech workforce in Israel?
I will be the one that answered this question. As I introduced myself, I was almost 7 years in the army as an officer, and the IDF is provide people from all across the country and communities. So as a commander, I see a table with the different kind of people, and I can see that when someone came from someone else that is like thinking different from me, he brings something new to the table, and this diversity is crucial also in the high-tech industry, especially in the high-tech industry that usually like the diversity comes into the high-tech and still lows. Now, like all the people most come from the center of Israel, and most of them from units that there was technology in the army. But my experience with the diversity in the army was the best. I feel like when it's more opinion from different places, it makes the final solution more better. So this is my answer to that.
Okay, thank you very much, Oded. Yeah, I can say also about the diversity in the high-tech industry. We can see today that more and more companies try in Israel to make as much as they can a diversity and recruit more people from different population. For example, in Tech Career, we have a big partnership with Wix and AT&T, and the feedback that we got from Wix and AT&T, that the combination between the Ethiopian Israeli and other society and the diversity is make a positive for the delivery of the teams. So it's make a huge difference for the companies that take a real partner with that. Okay, so let's move to the next question. The Ethiopian Israeli community arrived to Israel 30 plus years ago. What are some obstacles that the community continue to face, which make the path to the high tech and the leadership position challenging for the second generation?
I can try to answer about this question. I think that there is some reason, obviously, that can lead to this thing. I mean, after so many years in Israel and a lot of people that are already born and raised in here, and why they face those obstacles. From my perspective, there is three main reasons, I guess. And the one is the lack of familiarity with the high-tech industry positions, how this sector is contributing to the Israeli economy, and how can I, as an individual, can contribute and find my position and try to, to create my path of career in there. There is several ways how to get into the high-tech industry, as most of us already know. First thing is just by going to a university. If you are going to be a software developer, let's say, you are gonna basically go to study computer science, a bachelor degree. After 3 years, you are going to find your first position in the high-tech. In this specific case, I see the problem or the issue, as Takele Mekonnen, the director, already talked in the first snapshot, is about the fact that Ethiopian Israelis, the percentage of Ethiopian Israelis that are eligible to get a matriculation certificate are very much lower than the other population, which makes it much more harder for them to go to the university. I mean, in any field, not just in computer science, but if we are talking about the high-tech industry, it's something that can be a very big issue. Second thing is, there is a question, I'm sorry. The second thing that I see it as an obstacle is the serving in the army. I mean, there is a very known top level unit that's known in the army, which called here in Israel Shmone Matayim, which is in English, I think it's 8200 unit, which is basically a unit that filters and choose which kind of population will get into this top level unit. And this thing is very important to remember, as I see it, because most of the people that finish their army in those units have better chance to find a job in the high-tech industry as a team leader or even as a software developers, much easier than the people that wasn't in those top units. So I mean, even though army is something that you are I don't know, it's forced to go into and contribute your time to the country, but this is something that can help you to find your first job when you go out to the workplace. So it's something that we need to remember. And if some population aren't chosen to those kind of units, it makes it much harder. Of course, there is Tech Career that trying to help the Ethiopian Israelis to find their way and find their path to get in this industry. And there's a lot of work to do. The second reason that I think that make it, can help if you have those tools is the question about, will I succeed? And most of the time I found myself thinking about, could could I do it? I mean, I have a first degree in sociology and anthropology and education from the Hebrew University, but I did a shift and change my direction to the high-tech industry and for software development positions. So I always try to remember that I can do it, and I mean self-confidence and a lot of motivation during this journey. And not just that, I mean, not just self-confidence is needed here, but also a lot of people that are believing you. I mean, family, friends, people that can see your potential and just always tell you keep going and you can do it. And for me, it was some friend that she's a team leader in the high-tech industry, and she always motivated me and tell me that I can do it. And I mean, she was the person to tell me, you know, you can try to apply for those kind of positions. I mean, you are smart, you can do it. And I mean, this is something that very helped me. The third thing that I want to talk about is some method that I found out in the high-tech industry and an employee in there for a year. Is a friend brings friend method. In Israel, it's called Chaver Mevi Chaver. And this recruiting method is something that companies are prefer to pay for their employee and financial reward, give him a financial reward in order to bring some of his friends that he know that can be suits for this position in order to save costs, to save time. And I mean, it's better to bring someone that they can believe in him instead of looking for someone and just pray to God that he will survive this job, or I don't know, that he will deliver the job. So this thing is very important to remember, because if we are not going to the same university and learning at the same computer science bachelor degree, or not going at the same top level units, technology units, it's very hard for us. If we don't have those kind of close friends, we are not going to be the people that someone is going to refer about. So I'm not going to be the referrer of someone. So I think it's something that it's important to remember, because most of the companies are using this kind of method. And if I don't have someone that is from those kind of circles, it will be very hard for me. And of course, there is the other reasons that I already talked about. Of course, if there is someone that wanna add about that, I would like to.
Yes, I would like to add to what Sigedu said. I believe that the inspiration of the person affected by his environment and his family. And I think that a lot of Ethiopian kids see their parents or their relatives working in kind of works, and they don't believe that they can have more. They don't believe that they don't know how. So I think the main advantage, in high tech or in tech specific, is that it makes you believe that you can achieve anything your mind set to. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sigedu and Eden. I want to share also a short story about these questions. A year ago, I organized kind of a course, introduction for children near my neighborhood. And we start with 15 kids, students. We finish with 4, due to a variety of reasons. And the main reasons, as I see, is such of lack of parent support. In my opinion, the diversity starts from the younger age. And we need, when I say we, as community, as society, this society need to do more to promote the diversity and the equal opportunity in the high-tech industry and the Israel society at all. Okay, so let's move to the next question. The next question is, why do you choose study and tech career? Why tech career instead different bootcamp program or academic degree?
So I'll be the one who answering that question. So at the time I started to read about the high-tech professions, and I wanted to learn how to get into this world. When I was in high school, I was already working in a job to help support my family. So high school wasn't my top priority. Academic studies were not really an option because I lacked I'm sorry, the requirements. I heard good things about the career from people I knew, so I came to an open day, and it was nice to hear about graduate success story, people like me that managed to integrate into the high-tech industry was literally everything I hoped for. Everyone in tech career came from the same background as me, so it was easier to understand and fit in and help each other when we needed. And beside that, tech careers provides full support, studies after school, an amazing English tutor, a mentor from the industry, and they prepared us to an interviews, all the face in interviews, and even gave us a house that we can focus only on study. I feel like tech really opened a door for me, and it really gave me the tools I needed to succeed. Now I'm thinking about getting a degree, which is something that I didn't believe that I ever thought. And I really believe that tech career have its own unique signature on people, beside of the school and all the hours that we spend in front of a computer. And that's it.
I will add it to that by connection to the other question before. Another solution by Tech Career is like the people that graduated from the program connects her friends and family to the program, and let them also get inside to the high-tech industry through the Tech Career program. So when I was released and finished my contract with the army, I was talking with my friends that are already in the industry. All of them learn in Tech Career, so they recommend about this for me to check it first before I go and pursue the degree in the university. So I checked the program, I made the calls, and I saw the program is really suited to my situation and the age that I'm currently been to. And it was amazing, as Eden noticed that Tech Career really take care of everything. Is a place that you can focus with the study, and they have the house that they gave you. Even you get money from the states because you learn in the program that they provide, but kind of the states. And it's really good place. So this is my journey. So by connection to the two questions, this is my notice.
Thank you very much, Eden and Oded. This is a good question because anyone in tech career that want to start the journey in tech career start with this question. I want to go to degree, or maybe to go to tech career or to another bootcamp. Then all the question, all the answers are very, very, very correct, because I am also very connected with the answer. I say I have the same dilemma. So let's move to the next question. Describe your experience of making a leap from studying tech career into the high tech. What are some of the challenges that you experienced?
So I can start by answering about that. I can say from my experience in the first few weeks, months, the experience was very overwhelming. I felt like there is so many tools to learn, so many people to meet at the first time, a lot of English talkers. I don't know how to say. I mean, people that don't speak Hebrew at all, and then you are in the meeting with them, and you just need to face with this situation. It was very overwhelming. I mean, technologically and personally and everything together. I can say that my colleagues are facing another issue, which is the problem of getting in. I mean, finding the first position. For me, it was the process of starting here at Higher Score at my company. started before I finished the course, but a lot of my friends didn't find a job yet. So I believe it's something that we should be aware of, because it's not something very easy. There is a lot of exams. You need to pass a lot of interviews, a technical interview, a personal interview. So it's a very long process. So I mean, in a lot of ways, tech careers gave me a lot of tools and prepared me about the things that I'm gonna face when I will start. But it's the reality is just above the things that you heard about before. So this is why my experience. Most of the time, I'm trying to remember that even though I'm in stress, it's okay to feel like that. It's okay. It's my first job. It's not something so easy to pass through, and this is something that I try to tell myself, and especially when I remember that I'm a junior, and most of the time juniors are not recruited because they are senior developers. They are recruited because they have potential and they bring something new, and they have the motivation to learn new things that maybe sometimes seniors just say, okay, I know this, I have experience, I don't need to learn something new. But the motivation and the fresh energies that the juniors bring to the company is something that is valuable and very appreciated, and that's why they chose me. So it's something to remember. I can say that another challenges that I faced, let's say as an Ethiopian Israeli in the company, is sometimes at the small talks and at the coffee table, I felt like I don't have something common to people that are working with me, and it was a bit challenging to find those conversation topics that can help me feel like I'm part of this group. And in a higher level, let's say, I think that the fact that I'm the first Ethiopian Israeli that to work in the company, and the company exists for 10 years, and to be the first thing is, I can say, maybe proud, but the second thing is, I think like I have so much responsibility. It's not that the company maybe looks at me as a Segedu, as an individual, and if I fail because I'm Segedu and I didn't learn, or if I succeed because I'm Segedu and I learned and I just make it. It's always, there is a pressure, like I have a responsibility, I represent a community, and this is something that I think the more people from my community will work at the company, will much better. I think this is my experience from that.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Segedu. Anyone else want to maybe? Okay. I will try to add to these questions. In my experience, in this day, we are in kind of round of raising invest to our company, and we have a lot of discussion with high-tech industry executive in VCs and more, and the feeling that I get in those discussion, that it's something like, did Ethiopian know how to code? Or someone tell me, did you know how to manage these complex tech operations? So in my feeling, there's something that if the executive feel like this, so the answer it's very clearly that this is the feeling in the high tech. So this is the last. This was the last question. Mina.
First of all, thank you all. That was really for me, it was very informative. I'm sure that our volunteers also got a lot out of it. So thank you. And now we can open up for some questions from the volunteers, the mentors, if you have questions for our students. A couple people asked a couple questions I tried to answer on the chat. But if anyone has a question, go ahead and open your mic and.
I have a question.
Please,
Hi.
How much does tech careers, how active is tech careers in helping graduates or future graduates find their first position? How are they able to connect with companies that are open to this and open to the process of, yes, this person has good potential. I see they were a good student, and also I noticed somebody in the chat wrote about the situation today, that it's much harder to find a first job. Is that something you're finding as well?
I can answer about that. My position, like the place that I work into right now, it's called Movell Group. It's a company that provides services from other company, but hand-to-end services by app and mobile app, web app. And the position that I get is from Tech Career. They helped me get the first interview. I sent to the recruiters from Tech Career that she sent to the recruiter from Movell Group, and then I made it to this process with the company. So for the first question, it's yes, Tech Career helps the student get the process easier. They cannot provide the job, but they can make you open the door. So for me, it was amazing. I know from my friends also that I've been to in some interview with other companies that Tech Career provide them. So yes, Tech Career help with the process with the graduate. Not all with success, but there does.
I want to.
Sorry, go ahead.
I want also to add to that answer that in Tech Career we have a team. The team that need the focus of this team is just for the recruiter. It means that we have a lot of connection with several companies, a lot of companies in Israel, even startup, corporate, and more. And this team help to each student in Tech Career in order to bring them the first position. And also in the course we have several HR simulation, professional simulations that came from the industry. This means several teams come from the industry and make the simulation. That's all.
Alex, do you want to go next?
Yeah, thank you. I understand the value of diversity. The flip side of the coin is bias or discrimination. How much of that do you face when you're looking for a job in Israel?
It's a complicated question.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat it?
Sure. I mean, I had a software company myself, and I certainly value diversity. But I'm also aware in the United States, and I'm assuming in Israel, that there's some element of bias against Ethiopian Jews who are looking for a job. The bias may be a result of various factors, but I was just curious to understand how much of that you faced when you looked for a job, and how much aware of that you might be.
I can try to answer about that. I can say that for me, in particular, in this journey of finding the first job, which, by the way, Tech Career helped me by applying my resume to the company and make the first connection and so on. I can say that personally, in this journey, I didn't experience some biased thing, but I can say that in other fields it's something that can exist. I mean, people are experiencing that. I can say that I saw a lot of posts in the Facebook about our mothers that most of the time in Israel are working in position as I can say from my mother experience. I mean, she worked as how we say, a cleaner in office. I mean, she cleans the offices, And I saw a lot of posts in Facebook about recruiters of companies that say to, how you call it, there's some companies that bring employees to other offices to clean in there, and some of the recruiters says, don't bring Ethiopian mothers. We don't want those kind of employees in our company. I mean, even though I didn't face it in the high-tech industry, I do see those kind of biased and discriminating kind of recruiting people, even for those kind of jobs. So it's something that does exist, but I didn't face it lately, or this kind of.
Eden, you had started to say something. Did you want to, at the beginning, did you want to?
Yes, I'm trying to divorce that question to two parts. As Segedu said, I didn't experience any race problems in the current job that I work in Cognite, but I think that all of us feel not sure how to start that issue, because it's a big one. I think every one of us is going with a feel that he is not belong because of all. There is a lot of race. I'm not sure how to start. It's really difficult question. Get back to me later, okay? I will try.
I can try to add to Eden and Segedu. That's something that I guess it's in 2008 when I finished a tech career course. I started the journey for my first job, and in those time I can say that it's something that it's been exist, because when you came to company, to the receptions, and the reception look at you in different eyes. You are Israel Mengistu, and you are going to work in this company. And when the reception saw that you came and you passed several level, it means the first interview and the second, and you continue with the progress. The excited, it's been disappeared. This is in my feeling, it was in 2008. Today, I guess, because the diversity and all the buzzwords in Israel regard the diversity, it's something that I don't say if to say that it disappeared, but I guess I have some story from my friend that something that exists, but in a minimum way, if I can say like this.
I can also add for your question in terms of diversity in Israel. We're in the beginning of the inclusion in terms of diversity in Israel, not like in the United States that you have a long journey. We have to do a long journey. I think diversity exists in Israel in terms of gender. The gender issue in diversity in Israel is okay, but in cultural issue, in different society issues, still is very, very hard. It's very hard to get a job for Ethiopians. It's very hard to get a job for the Arabs. It's very hard to get a job for the ultra-Orthodox Jews. Also, it's very hard to get a job from the periphery of from Israel. As they mentioned, most of the high-tech companies that was located in Tel Aviv, around Tel Aviv area. That means the one who lives from Tel Aviv, from Herzliya, from Rehovot, from Ra'anana, that's the pool that they get a job. That means that is a very homogeneous unit. They are going to intelligence unit in the army. They were being Shmoneh time. They were being very, very high level in the army, and after that they get the industry in the high-tech company. most of the Ethiopians were not in Tel Aviv around, were in the periphery in terms of high matriculation, in terms of networking, in terms of, we have to work very hard. In tech career, we are working very, very hard to connect our students to the company. We have more than 200 companies work with that, but we are working very hard, day and day. Now today is also very hard because of the crisis in the industry. There's a lot of crisis in the industry. Most of the jobs, they are not for the juniors. So we are working very, very hard. Before the crisis, before the COVID, our job placement was been 93%. Now we are less than 50% because it's very, very hard. But in terms of diversity, Israel is, we are the beginning of diversity. We are in the beginning. Also, the situation, the political situation, the economic situation is very hard, very hard. The solidarity is not the same solidarity that the Israeli in the 90s. Now, each group has his own, there's the Arabs alone, the ultra-Orthodox alone, and even in the Jews is a different groups, and there's a lot of challenge the Israeli society. I hope we will do more and more and to connect each other for the community. Thank you.
Thank you all for answering that. I see we have 3 hands. Michelle, do you want to go next?
I guess there's something called subtractive bilingualism, where people who immigrate lose their native language, which if you're born in Israel, you might not have Amharic or Tigrinya as your language. Is there any incentive for keeping the parents' language or the first language? I'm looking online now, and I see where I live in Washington, D.C., there's a company that is actually quite large called an Ethio-American company. There's a couple articles about Sheba Valley in Ethiopia. Is there any way to leverage the heritage background as an asset rather than as something to, be ambivalent about?
Ooh, interesting idea.
Yeah. I can answer that question. That still we don't have any constitute for the to keep our language. Most of our families want to be an Israeli, even they didn't speak with their children with Amharic or with the Tigray. That's the really the crisis that we face today. Really, yeah, because they try to speak with them with a very broken Hebrew, because they are not reading and writing Hebrew, even they didn't write and read Amharic and Tigray. Most of our families come to Israel without education. This generation that you see is the first generation that the educated one. It's very hard to be the first generation to attend the university, and I was been the first one who attend the university from my family. I study electronics in the university, and they thought my family that I was the big professor in the family, and I can solve the whole problem of my family. It's very hard to lead your career at the same time to take care about your family. So we don't have any establishment about Amharic. There's a very grassroots organization starting to teach the analphabet of Amharic and some slangs and some readers, something like that. There's no any institute that, even the university, we don't have any about the Amharic linguistic issue in the university in Israel.
Thank you, Takela, for that. Arnie, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, thank you. I'm curious as to the level of English education that you received versus that of other Jewish Israelis in high school or in the army or wherever, how would you compare prior to English B'Yachad, your English education?
I can try to answer about that. I can say that for me, every time that people are asking me, how do you know English? My answer is, I don't know. I'm not sure where and how I learned to speak. I mean, I didn't heard so much English music or watch films. I mean, I don't know, but most of my education about my language ability or skill is from school, even though I don't consider my grammar skills so much high, but most of my progress was done in this year by the help of Dorothy. I believe she is still in here. Say hello if yes. I mean, she was very patient, and we are working about reading a lot, articles and newspapers. I mean, something that is very relevant for today. So I can say that in this year I made most of the progress in talking English, and I think most of it is by building the self-confidence about my English, and this is something that bring me a lot of boost, I can say. Basically, it's that.
For me, it's the same.
Oded, go first.
For me, it's the same. As Segedu say, I also don't know where my English comes, although I learn in school. I can say in the school program is displayed for 3, 4, and 5 units. In my specific school that I learn in high school, most of the students go for 3. So the road is already set for you, and the level is not so high. But my other English comes from movie and music. I listen to a lot of music from the US, also UK. But for sure, the promote of my speaking English promoted by my work with Steve. He got even a book of a grammar teacher, and we learned together grammar, and we read the article and News Taylor, and it's amazing. I felt like in the last year, I speak more with confidence and speak with others. A little notes, my girlfriend, she's Italian. She speaks native Italian and English also. So all my conversation with her is with English. So Steve also helped me with that. But the premier question about the speaker Maria, I was born in Israel, born and raised. I speak only Hebrew native. My English, as you see, is not native, and my married I can speak, but most of the conversation is lower. I cannot speak natively, and there is some kind of program that raise up now that provide learning speak, like as they say, basic slangs and words. And I believe so in the future, they will raise a company that provide this services to learn Amharic.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, I will add to what Oded and Segedu said. As Oded said, it's really, in high school you learned units. And for me, I didn't actually study English in my studies because I believe that if you want to learn a new language and practice it, you have to speak, and that's what I'm doing with Laura. We mostly work on getting the confidence I needed to be able to speak in front of you, even. And I truly believe that you don't learn language by sitting near to a notebook and writing all kinds of stuff. You learn language by practicing it. So I learned my English by movies and music and the American culture. And I'm practicing my speaking English with Laura and also reading and that kind of things. And that's it. I wanted to add to the previous questions. For me, I didn't learn Amharic when I was a little child, because I felt like I want to fit in into the environment, and I was afraid to look as a stranger to the other kids. So I pushed away the Ethiopian girl I am to focus only on my Israeli. And I regret it, okay? It's something that I took to my to myself, and I will get to it. That's it.
Thank you all for answering that question. Deb, I think it was Debbie. No, I don't see. We had one more. Yeah, Debbie, you had a question. I think this is going to be our last question.
Quick, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for doing such a wonderful job. Really proud of all of the students. And I think they have you all have a tremendous wealth of knowledge that I think we could tap into. And maybe because each of you is so successful in your next leg of your journey, that hopefully we can, as an institution, as the Institute, can ask you how you were successful in your interviewing and each step of the way, that maybe that's a learning method for us as the tech company can ask you how and why, what were the questions, and how were you successful in obtaining your job. And maybe that's one way we can be successful in helping the current students. And I was just thinking that may be one way to move forward and be successful for the current students and the students that are coming behind you. And so as a mentor and mentee to help them move forward, because that's always a question for how do you interview and what questions and what are you looking for and what are the prospective employers looking for. So that's what I just thought we'd offer as an option. Yeah. Thank you all very much.
Great. I think to our panel, do any of you want to add anything? Do you have any ideas that you said? Oh, I forgot to say that during when I spoke. Is there anything else you want to add as a final word before we get ready to sign off? Okay.
I think there is a question, Mina.
Okay, Elizabeth? I see it says Elizabeth shook it. Yes.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the panelists, because what you've told us and shared with us, your perspectives really are invaluable to us. They really help us understand the cultural significance, the educational significance, and how, in whatever modest way we can help you, how that does benefit you. My question is really pertaining as a general question. Is there any one thing in particular, when you think back of the relationship you've had with your tutors and what your needs were acquiring better English skills, is there any one specific thing that you'd say, please, please don't forget this, or this is like the most important thing you can give me? Thank you.
I think to make them speak as much as they can, to make them speak as much as they can, which means that communicate with them, maybe ask them questions. That's something that Laura doing every time. She trying to navigate me to my answer. And if I'm forgetting some word, she's telling me to think on a different word that describe the same. And I think it's very important.
For me, it's also the speaking with the mentor, like on the week, what we process each one his own place. But specific for me, what I think is important is to be with the specific needs of grammar. I think if you go to the base and raise is much more better. When me and Steve practice, we see some new words and we practice this a lot in the session. So the words is coming into my head and I remember these words to the future head process. So I think to settle down on the base on the grammar, future, past, present, and also kind of new words if you can put it in on the session. Me and Steve, two of us, we have book grammar that Steve leads the process in the session with me. But I think the foundation of the basic in the grammar and then comes up with the article and stuff. It's a good process.
I can add a bit on that. I think that the fact that you are volunteering with us, and I mean everyone have his own mentor, is something that is very significant by helping us level up our English. So this itself is very appreciated, and thank you, Dorothy. I think if there is something specific, is like Eden and Oded already mentioned, is grammar and a lot of reading, and of course correcting the pronunciation of some words. I mean, if there is something that I pronounce by mistake, so don't be shy and just correct and just practice this more until it gets perfect. So I think those are the things that are very important, and keep doing it.
I think that is a perfect note to finish on. I want to thank all of our panel for speaking with us this evening and opening themselves up and speaking in English at 9 p.m. Really, I know you do this anyway with your mentors, but to a big group, we were 50. People are starting to drop off. We were 50. Kol hakavod, really, to all of you. I hope we will have more chances to speak with our students and the Tech Career Bogrim, the alumni. So thank you to our wonderful partners and their wonderful alumni for this evening.
Thank you, you're all amazing. Thank you so much for the things that you're doing for us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We so appreciated your time and your information. It was invaluable. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Very,
Thank you,
very
everyone.
much.
Thank you for attending. This is great. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you very much. And we really, really appreciate the partnership with Skilled Volunteers for Israel, with the English B'Yachad program. It's invaluable. There's no day that I do not speak with Mina and about the students and the graduates, and Mina is doing just a wonderful job, and with connecting with her students and her graduates, and she's part of the Tech Career team, so we have no words to thank her enough. And Marla,
Yes.
of course, for this wonderful partnership for those past 3 years. Thank you so much. It's very, very, it's a huge part of Tech Career success
Thank you, Abigail.
and the success of our graduates.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Here's
you
to
very much.
another many years together. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Adios todo.
Thank you.